Today on BRStv, we're going to cover Hikari premium fish diets. Hikari is a widely distributed brand. It can be found in many stores in both frozen and dry varieties. Today, we're going to focus on their pellets, wafers, and freeze-dried foods. Let's start with Hikari as a company. The aquarium industry has no shortage of new upstarts and giant publicly traded conglomerates run by boards whose primary goal is really stockholder share value, not producing the highest quality food available. But there's one thing all of them share in common: everyone says they're the best. The founders of Kyorin, maker of Hikari diets, have been engaged in aquatics for over 130 years. Started as and still is a privately owned company whose sole focus is exploring aquatic habitat, husbandry, and nutrition to achieve the most attractive, healthy, colorful fish. In 1979, they founded the Foods Division. Now they're Japan's most popular and trusted brand, as well as Japan's largest supplier of tropical fish. For the Japanese, aquatics goes beyond a hobby. It's really more of an art form, koi being one of the more time-tested and respected traditions. Hikari Foods have been responsible for every single All-Japan Grand Champion koi since 2003. These are $250,000 fish where what you feed is not a decision you take lightly. Even outside of the aquatics industry, well-respected organizations like NASA turn to them when they need special food for use in unique environments like laboratory testing in space. In the Reef tank, the two most popular foods are the marine A and S. Both use similar ingredients with slightly different formulations and sizes. A is a larger pellet designed for stable growth and coloration with larger specimens. S is a smaller pellet designed for small to average sized fish, commonly found in a reef tank. First thing you'll notice is neither will cloud the water when added to the tank. The sponge-like pellets hold their shape and won't pollute the water. You can see in this demonstration where we soak the pellets for 5 minutes, there's very little breakdown as compared to this competitive product that you can see completely disintegrates. What this means to you is you can feed less yet still provide the same nutrition because the fish have much more time to find the food before it disintegrates and pollutes the water. Less food in the tank means higher quality water, which results in healthier fish and corals, less algae, and reduced maintenance like cleaning the glass and possibly even water changes. In fact, taking the time to hydrate the food in a cup for a minute before using is recommended because the resulting soft sponge-like texture more closely matches foods they would find as a part of their natural diet. Hard pellets or disintegrating powders are textures pretty far from anything they would find in the wild. If you'd like to take this a step further, you can hydrate it in some fresh RODI water, which will reduce the salt intake and reduce the energy required to maintain the osmotic balance saltwater fish are constantly working to achieve. The food itself is made up primarily of sea-based creatures and avoids strange components like fruits and terrestrial animals. These two foods also provide amongst the highest protein, fat, vitamins, and DHA, EPA, omega-3 fatty acid levels, especially for an omnivorous food which also contains healthy amounts of algae. The mix is designed to provide nutrients in ratios a fish can utilize for growth and metabolic function with as little waste as possible. The digestibility and balance of nutrients is critical to the fish utilizing as much as possible. It isn't just the specific ingredients that are important, it's the ratios that they're provided in. These building blocks of nutrition need to be provided in the right ratios. Too much of any one of them will likely result in additional waste added to the tank. Hikari also produces a first nori-based algae wafer with the Seaweed Extreme. The smaller pellets are designed for top and mid-tank feeders who typically capture the food the moment the foods enter the tank. And the wafers are for fish who like to scavenge and feed off the bottom. This product is 67% seaweed and can be considered a complete replacement for nori sheets in a much more convenient form. Well, it's fun to watch the fish go after the nori. Nori sheets are often fairly high in salt. The holders aren't particularly attractive, and as a general rule of thumb, it's a good idea to keep your hands out of the tank as much as possible. For those of you looking for an alternative for your algae-loving fish, this is a pretty solid option. All three of these foods are packaged in a foil-lined Mylar bag with a Ziploc to reduce oxidation and preserve the foods. Do yourself and fish a favor, make sure to use this to your advantage and seal the Ziploc between uses. Hikari also offers a freeze-dried selection as well, including shrimp and krill. Most reefers like to offer some natural foods, and sometimes frozen food just isn't an option. Both the krill and brine shrimp come amazingly intact. The shrimp come in these cool little cubes. When added directly to the the tank, they float around a while, and the fish seem to enjoy picking at them. What's nice is the cube itself is too large to go down the overflow, and the fish pull it away. The krill basically hydrate back into large intact pieces, which is really pretty amazing. The foods are the exact same raw materials as their frozen sister products, meaning the shrimp have been gut-loaded with vitamins and nutrients immediately prior to processing to maximize the nutritional quality of the feed. The freeze drying itself is done with a pharmaceutical grade process to keep as many nutrients intact as possible. This more advanced and expensive process removes the moisture while limiting oxidation, which allows the food to maintain many of its original characteristics, including color, texture, and flavor. The resulting moisture is typically under 10% versus commonly over 30% with competitive products. The container is purged with nitrogen during the packaging process to remove oxygen and contains an oxygen-absorbing packet to continue protecting the product after it's been opened. Freeze-dried foods are also an excellent way to incorporate medications and additional nutrients into the fish's diet by rehydrating them with products like Celcon, KZ's Immune Stable or amino acids, as well as some of the popular medications produced by Hikari. So take a moment and tell us what you like to feed down in the comments area below. We love hearing what the community does as a whole. If this is your first time with us, hit that subscribe button because we do this every week. See you next week with another episode of BRStv.